but very often they are there to protect you. Your victim trance state is going to protect you from failure. So it's going to make you sabotage. It's going to make you not try. It's going to make you make excuses. And this is where we need to start working with the positive intentions of the victim trance states, because otherwise we create a lot of dissonance in our body, meaning we're going to blame and judge ourselves. And that has never helped. I can tell you, because when we blame and judge ourselves, we are trying to overcome these victim trance states with a lower level of consciousness. The only way we can actually overcome the victim trance states is by going to a higher vantage point of who we are, and that is to actually go into the energy consciousness of a creator. And a creator always lives above 200, very often maybe in 350, you know, acceptance, willingness, reason, love. And a creator also knows how to maintain its equilibrium by staying in heart and brain coherence. That's why we teach you to appreciate 3 times a day. And if you need to appreciate 24/7, that's what you do, because appreciation is the antidote to the 7 toxic ways of thinking, which are habitual ways of thinking. We think, but we're actually not thinking. We're just basically you know, vomiting toxins and toxic thoughts on the world, but projecting toxic thoughts on reality. So the appreciation as the antidote for the toxic ways of thinking, the toxic ways our mind is utilizing, you know, being utilized unconsciously by us. When we appreciate, when you create it as a habit, you stay in heart coherence. And when you're in heart coherence, you trust life, you know things because you are way more psychic. This is coming all from the research, and you will know it yourself. Once you start practicing being in heart and brain coherence, you will know how much it will actually enhance your life, because you literally start seeing life through a different lens, and you start knowing things that you wouldn't know, because you're actually much more psychic and much more intuitive. And this is all because we live in a quantum field full of information, full of consciousness, and we're not even separated from things that we want, and we're not separated from the future that we want, and we're not separated from other people. And definitely we're also not separated from the people who want what we have to give, or the people that are looking for what we want to create, right? So this is very important, that we need to understand that the tools that we give you, like appreciation, they are there because it creates a higher attractor field within you and makes you a vibrational match to more possibility than when your body is stuck in the victimhood, which is here. Yeah. So in victimhood, you're in anywhere under 200, even if you feel powerful when you're aggressive, or even if you feel powerful when you're judging people. But actually, you're creating a lot of things that are really coming from lack, from fear, from having to manipulate, having to control, not feeling safe, not trusting life, not knowing that you are creating a lot of things in your life. And by focusing on what is lacking, and by focusing on what you fear. When we are a victim to disempowered trance states, we're always focusing on what we don't want. That's a sure thing. We are focusing on what we don't want, we're resisting what we don't want, and we are fighting against what we don't want. And we think it's the outer world, okay? So this is the thing, it creates a lot of fear, shame, and guilt, and all of you are here because you're so done with it. And this is going to be a big part of the game. And I think this is really going to allow us to step very courageously in this realm of the game, which is being a creator. So I want us to really look at, this specific chart, which is, I want you to look at maybe these habits. So the alignment skills. So one of them is called vision, because what do people do? We need to go to another slide. We need to develop vision, because if we don't develop vision, what we do is we create this reality feedback loop. And I want to show it, because very often people create stuckness in their life because they're They're looking at reality, what they don't like, meaning I don't like my life, I don't like my bank account, I don't like my marriage, I don't like my love life, I don't like the world. And they let the current reality dictate what they see, what they believe is real. And then what they believe is real, which is manifested reality, becomes the only picture that they see. So they don't see possibility. They only see what is already there, which they don't like. And that determines their energy. And this is how they get caught up in the loop, the reality feedback loop of people that cannot develop vision. And so this is why vision is the next, is this. With vision, you start to see the desired manifestation as a reality. You start to see it as happening in the now because you believe in vibrational reality. So you don't see it as where is it? You see it as something that is just as real as your hand, is just not here yet. You just start to see it as something that you can actually tune into your energy, and then you start feeling gratitude for it. So instead of letting the eyes and what you see in reality dictate how you feel, you start to see reality as you want it to be. And then you start to feel the way you would feel if that reality was already here. And so this is one of the superpowers that we want you to see as an alignment skill, because tonight we're going to work with the alignment skills. So we're going to find out what is your superpower, because vision is see it before it materializes. Another superpower or alignment skill is tell it like you want it to be, because the opposite is this. Tell it like you want it to be is tell a new story. Otherwise, people keep complaining. They keep talking about reality. And what are you going to get? Because every second, every moment, you are actually talking about things. You're thinking about things. You're creating your reality. And if we keep on talking about what we don't want, keep on telling the story of what is, we're never going to tell the story of what we want. And so telling a new story is one of your superpowers. So tell it like you want it to be. So instead of telling it like it is, alignment first before anything. This is also very important habit to break, because a lot of people take action before they are aligned, and then they create wishy-washy results. So for instance, you want to make a phone call for a business meeting, and you're actually feeling it not in your stomach. Well, that is actually a sign that you are in the lower levels of consciousness and you are not aligned. So we would recommend you to do some pre-paving. We would ask you to maybe do some releasing, do an energy process. We would ask you to maybe do like appreciate your power, appreciate your meeting, appreciate your clients, whether they want to work with you or not, and appreciate that your goal has already happened, but you don't know who it's going to be with. So we teach you all of these things to help you live each moment coming from alignment before you do anything. Another one is focus on desire, because a lot of the time when people see what they don't want, they're hypnotized by it. Like, I literally think there's brain research that says, let's say there are 10 things that are going well in your life, but there's one thing that is a problem, your brain will go overload on that one thing, right? And this is how we get hypnotized by the undesired, and that one thing that isn't working out in our life like drags us down. Yeah. And so this is again why being in an accountability game where you're going to see yourself like doing all of these things, and you have this chart in front of you and you think, oh, I'm not going to go there anymore. I now need to stop being hypnotized by what I don't like. I now need to stop just making one thing that's not so good overshadow all the blessings in my life. And so this is where we're going to teach people to focus on what they do want, instead of, being hypnotized by it and resisting it and letting all their energy go down the drain. And, all of us have been there. Okay. So forgive yourself, because this is such a human habit. And this is why we need to break the habit. And so another one is being a vibrational match. Some people are very good at pretending. And when you're good in pretending, you should use this alignment skill of fake it before you make it. And what happens is, because you're offering a new vibration, something new will come into your reality. So your superpower, I want you to think about this chart here. What do you think is your strength? What do you think is very easy for you to do? Is it vision, meaning you can see things before they become reality? Is it you're really good at making up things, like telling a new story and you actually enjoy it? Is it, no, I actually like to do the processes, like I want to take pen and paper and write about what I do want and maybe feel into it before I take action. I like to, you know, write down a to-do list or a gratitude list. You know, you have different people. The other alignment skills, focus on what you want, not what you don't want, fighting the one thing that's not right in your life, resisting it with your energy. That could be a superpower because maybe you're very good in shifting focus and focusing on what you want. The other one is embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, which is become a vibrational match. Can you fake it so much that you know that you already have it? And can you start playing with those feelings? Another one of the alignment skills is we are going to teach you to set intentions and to then be detached about the outcome. And that's not easy, but it's a superpower. Yeah, it is one of your alignment skills. So I want you to look at this list and maybe write down one that feels less difficult. Because I'm not saying these things are easy, but they are doable. And write down which one you think is your superpower, because we need to start creating your chosen strategy to get out of these trance states. So tonight we're going to look at a victim trance state that you have. Yeah. So I want you to see here in the top you see a goal, and I want you to think of a goal. So in the blue chart, so if you go from left to right, you see worthy goals, and then you see now trance state, and then positive intention. I want you to write in the first column, and I can't point with anything right now with my tablet, but in the predominant set point, the predominant set point for your trance state, I am, I feel, I believe, I would want you to write down your victim state, or this victim trance state that you find yourself in an area where you want to change your life. I want you to write down, how do you see yourself, your I am. So how do you talk to yourself? Do you say I'm a loser, or I'm a failure, or I'm so not good enough, or I don't feel worthy? Well, how do you talk to yourself? Yeah. How does that make you feel? And what do you believe to be true? So I want you to write that down about one of the trance states that you very often play out. Yeah. And so I want you to write down, how do you talk to yourself? What do you say to yourself? What do you feel? And what do you believe to be true? So what are the things that if somebody would talk to you, you would say, no, 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 I'm right. No, I'm right because I'm such a victim. Don't even go there. Because as I said, we argue for our limitations as a victim. So write them down, really be honest about them. And I want you to see which superpower that could be an alignment skill that you're abusing in favor of your trance state. Think about it. Think about it. How are you creating so powerfully this victim state with an alignment skill that could be a superpower to actually get you into positive manifestation, but actually you're using maybe your focus. Maybe you have an amazing focus. It's just that you focus on what you don't want. You focus on what's wrong. You focus on what is out of alignment. You focus on blaming. Maybe it is one of those things. Maybe you love to tell it like it is. So maybe you call 2,500 people. You love talking about the problems. Maybe talking, maybe sharing information, maybe verbalizing it is one of your superpowers. Or maybe it's another one. You are very good in feeling very good, and then something happens, oh, you shift very quickly. So and then you hear a song, and then boom, you shift again. So there could be something about your kinesthetic feeling that is something you could utilize. I want you to really understand that you already have a superpower, but you're just abusing it. You're just misusing it so that you're creating outcomes that you don't want. And I want you to now write down the positive intention of this victim state of yours. What is it trying to do? What is it protecting you from? The victim in you that is so arguing for her own limitations, that hasn't been shifting for probably many years. What is the positive intention? Is the positive intention, I don't want to be, I don't want to be, I don't want to be criticized. I don't want to be hurt. I don't think I'm going to be okay if I do all of this. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be laughed at, you know, or I don't want to be lonely, or I'm afraid. There's always a positive intention, because unless we understand the positive intention of these victim states, they're going to keep us safe, yeah? Because your subconscious mind is so powerful, and these victim states are really very hidden in your subconscious mind. It doesn't matter how many courses you take. When they come up, you know, these victim states, they're going to overpower you. They're going to like take over a lot of your energy. And but it has a positive intention, so we need to work with a positive intention. So I want you to, maybe some of you ladies, to share maybe some of the insights you've had just by doing this exercise. Maybe could somebody, because I can't see much. I don't even see who's here. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me see. Okay, 10 people. Yeah, gosh. Would somebody like to share, like, what do they have insights? You can put on your camera as well. I don't know. I don't even know how many people are here, as I said. And I don't know whether you guys can unmute yourself, because I'm on my tablet. Okay. See, Lucy, Victoria, Anna. Is it 10 people or 5 people? I don't know. So,
hello.
Hi. How many participants do we have here?
Let's see. I can see 6.
Yeah, because my tablet is 11.
Right.
I don't know. So maybe we're running 2 Zooms. Okay, so do you have an insight just by doing this exercise?
I think I'm trying kind of to use this exercise in something that I struggle with, but because is it this kind of issue that you have in the back of your mind and you think, oh, it's not that important, yeah, because there are more important things like relationships, abundance, whatever. So, but it's a thing that I struggle with all the time. So
yeah, so let's look at it tonight, you know.
Okay, so this is about weight loss. I'm sorry, my cat agrees with me.
So what is the positive intention of the part of you that might not want to lose weight, that might want to take that cookie? Or
I think it's not want to be seen, and I think I know that it's kind of still my widow identity. That you know, when you really want to move on, but there's like a part of maybe guilt or whatever that doesn't want to move on, it's better not to be seen, you know, because maybe you are seen. I'm thinking, because that's a logic.
Could also be, if I go a bit deeper, because when you've lost somebody you love so much, yeah.
Yes, sorry.
It's better not to love.
Mm-hmm.
It's better not to risk to be loved and lose again.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes beyond it. It's better not to be seen. It's better to not love.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to see. So this is really an area of life where we need to be so compassionate with ourselves. And so this is where all your knowledge, your spiritual knowledge, is going to come and rush in and help you. Because if you know the positive intention of this part of you that might be fearful to go through so much heartache again, you know, because you are a widow, you became a widow at quite a young age. And the horrible thing about great love lives is that when you become a widow, you really get what we call the widow syndrome. You know, you basically it's very painful to let go of that person, but also it's very painful to actually expose yourself again to new love. But this is, you know, what would your loved one want you to stay a widow and want you to stay in this trance state? You're muted.
I don't. I don't think so, and I think it's just me kind of probably resisting letting go of that old self.
And also protecting yourself.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's a lot of things that we do in our mind when we find love and we lose it. We idealize it. And, you know, I don't know your relationship, but sometimes the imaginary non-relationships are better than the ones that we're in.
Exactly. and I'm aware of that.
Yeah. And it could also be your personality profile, because, you know, I know certain personality types, they'd rather not have the romance being what is it, obliterated by reality. So I know a lot of that. The thing is like, this is not like a big part of your life that is going to like destroy many parts of your life, but it is something that is, I would say, it can give so much joy once you start working with this part. And we're not saying start dreaming about relationship, we're just saying about start living in the present moment and stop fearing death and seeing death or transitioning as a dead-end road or as a punishment for you. And this is really maybe more about living in the now.
Mm-hmm.
And not just living in the now, to know that you're worthy of having everything and to let go of the guilt, because there's a lot of guilt, survivor's guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very well known to be, you know, something that people struggle with. So it's very important that you start seeing yourself very clearly in this area, and then you make a decision. Do I really want to create this? If I am God, if I'm deliberate, would I want to hang out in this world deprived of love?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's you're the only one that can answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we can definitely look at, you know, this is something that you can work with in your meditations. You know, allow the best case scenario to give you a sign, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
allow your best case scenario to really come to you with like some synchronicity. Sometimes I don't believe so much in the forcing ourselves to change. I sometimes think the divine will step in and help us, not just a bit. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you gain from this specific exercise? Because I was also saying, you know, that you must have a superpower that you're misusing to keep yourself here. What do you think your superpower is?
I think it's focus, and that's why. I mean, when I focus on something, I notice that I get it. You know, when I really focus on something.
So what are you focusing on? What is the picture you're holding in mind? Because right now we're going to go to the next part of the exercise, which is, you know, we have picture plus energies manifestation, right? So you're creating a picture that makes you not want to go into the future. It makes you feel that this is better. So what is the picture that you're focusing on, and what are you not focusing on? So we really need to know that. Can you share that?
Uh, I'm not totally sure. I think kind of I focus a lot in what is. So by looking at myself, I get frustrated. I get angry at myself. Like, how am I letting this to happen to myself, or why am I doing this to myself? So
So
sometimes
you're not defined by the vision of your future self. You're
exactly.
defined by what you find frustrating. So a lot of devaluing there of
Mm-hmm.
what is, of who you are. Because who you are is a beautiful, beautiful woman, amazing, brilliant woman.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the inner monkey chatter,
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
and when you were
Yeah.
saying that, it's easy to see other monkeys, and then all of a sudden I thought, yeah, I've been having this huge monkey in my head all my life. telling me what I should look like, what I should be like. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to do some fun exercises in the next game.
Great.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, because all of us have that monkey, and we need to transform the monkey, and we're going to do it with love. So before we go to the next exercise, I want to see whether other people have had some insights and breakthroughs, because thank you so much for sharing, Anna. You can see how a little exercise like this can help you dig up a lot of the dead skeletons, right? And the thing is, these are the things where you stay stuck, right? Because you think, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to do it, because the energy of this type of consciousness is so low that when we do not do it, we actually start to we actually see our lives regressing. Yeah. So it's very important that we really take the time to do these exercises. And maybe, you could definitely not look at it, but if you're going to be a deliberate creator, would you want to hang out with all these little monkeys in your mind telling you that it's not safe to do this, it's not good to dream big, it's not good to have everything you want? Because it's not true, And this is why I challenge myself to work on my love life, because so safe not to work on your love life if you have the career. Very often what I see is women work on their career and then they work on the love life. But actually, I think sometimes, sometimes they both can really collaborate together. So I don't know whether there's anybody that likes to share anything else. Otherwise, we're going to go share the screen again. Let's see. So we're going to go to the next part. Oh, where is it? Jeez, where is it? Okay. So I have to open up document. So the next part is where we're going to look at what do you want to create. Imagine that you are a bit frustrated with this part of you that is living in this victim trance state, in the trance monkey state. Where would you like to go to? So that would be this picture. Who do you want to be here? So that is this part. That is this part of the chart. So if you could have anything, you could have anything, wave a magic wand, it just happens. Who would you be? What would you tell yourself? How would you hear yourself talking to yourself? What would you feel about yourself? And what would you believe to be true? And I want you to write that down about this specific, the same area where you feel stuck. I want you to turn it around and really start tuning in to the new self that knows that she can have everything. She can create everything. What would she believe about herself? How would she talk to herself? How would she feel about herself? And what does she believe about herself? And I want you to really write that down. Take some time. And I want you to then think about the positive intention. The positive intention of this new part of you that is probably maybe a bit unfamiliar with you, but this is the part of us that we're going to work with in the next game. We're going to step into the new future self. That is going to be the evolution of your victim self. Your victim self is so sick and done with its old story, and it really wants to transform itself. Sometimes people say, oh, this old self is dying. I don't think so. I think the old self is coming up with a lot of drama because it wants to transform. It doesn't want to stay in the drama. So how are we going to help this victim trance state to evolve? How are we going to feed it? Are we still going to give it a diet, the mental diet of I'm not worthy, it's not safe, you're just not good enough? Or are we going to give it a new mental diet, a much more nutritious diet? Yeah. So I want you to write that down, and I want you to think about which superpower, because you have a superpower, whether your superpower can be utilized in a different way now. Yeah, and if all the superpowers are very difficult for you, you know, you're going to have to choose one that you're going to practice, because otherwise, you know, you don't know how to get yourself out of these habits. We need to use a superpower to work with. So I want you to just really now do a exercise where we're going to do a visualization or an energy exercise with that part of you that is a victim. And the most important thing is that very often when we are dealing with the victim trance states, we say we do not welcome it with love. We resist it, we judge it, we analyze it, we try to kill it, or we deny it or repress it. Yeah. So what are we doing when we do that? We are coming from a low level of consciousness, and with that low level of consciousness, it's very difficult for us to transform this victim self. The only way we can transform this self, this victim trance state self, is to welcome it with love, because love is so high in vibration that we can actually transform it with love. The other one thing which happens is when we encounter these victim trance states is that we feel shame, and we beat up on ourselves, and we ridicule ourselves, we make ourselves feel bad, or we feel guilty, we feel defeated. All of these things are normal, but they're not useful because they keep you stuck in all these lower levels of consciousness. So we're going to make you aware that to transform these victim trance states, the only thing you have to do is welcome them with love and compassion, to not resist them, not judge them, not try and force them to change, but to actually allow them to change, to invite them to change, because they want to change. They're really willing to change. And imagine that your victimhood is related to certain people, yeah, or certain things. Could be clients, could be bosses, could be business partners, could be economy, it could be exes, it could be people that you have to work with or live with, or they're not giving you certain things. Really understand with unconditional love and self-empowerment that everybody is reacting to your vibration. And because that is true, you can actually empower yourself with not resisting what you created, but by really allowing yourself to love the new creation, the vision of your new creation. Then you don't have to be stuck in resistance, because we're going to work with the law of non-resistance. The law of non-resistance means that the way to fight reality is not by fighting it, it's by allowing it to be, and to actually really taking your attention away from it and just focusing on what we do want. Because instead of using our energy in a destructive way, we can use our energy in a productive way. When we use our energy in a productive way, we can really allow it to transform, can really allow it to 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 marry the love and compassion that we have and all the superpowers that we have for all the areas in our life where we're very capable, to marry it with the parts of us where we are really not feeling very capable, where we're creating a lot of outcomes that we don't want. So the next energy exercise is, this is like a real energy exercise, and I want us to really look at this. I want us to really realize that I want you to make a connection with that part of you that is the victim. Yeah, I want you to bring up that part of you in your awareness. And I want you to just feel it in your body. Where is she? Where is he? Just feel that part in your body and feel her active in your consciousness. And I want you to be aware that you'd rather her not to be there. You'd rather her be gone. But this is the wrong strategy. I've been doing this for a lot of times in my life, and it actually keeps it alive. This part of us needs us. Yeah? It needs our love and it needs our compassion to change. It needs to be engaged in the project of our transformation. So I want you to really make contact with this part of you. And I want you to hold her in your heart, to put her in your heart, and to cherish her, and to say to her, we are going to go on this adventure. And on this adventure, we're going to learn a lot of new things. And it's going to be so much fun. And I will not abandon you anymore. I will no longer criticize you, alienate you, make you feel less than. I'm going to love you so unconditionally. We are both going to thrive. And I can tell you, when I did this with my victim part, there was such a huge shift. And the reason being is that all of those years before, I didn't understand that my judging my victim, me wanting to kill my victim, me wanting to deny my victim, was going to make it more stronger in my psyche. So my biggest breakthrough recently is that I need to love my victim. I need to, for me, it shows up in a wounded lover or a wounded child, which is really like doesn't believe it's lovable, doesn't believe it's safe, doesn't believe it's worthy, and it has been there for many, many years. And so although I know so much, and I know so much about the concepts and everything, it kept coming back in my life, and it really was it just got worse and worse. And so when I did a process where I had to stop abandoning her, I had to stop judging her, I had to just love her, and I had to really co-create with her, that is when I started feeling the peace in her, feeling that she was no longer demonized by me, right? Because what we demonize, what we resist, persists. And then that part of us is not part of our wholeness. So it's going to come in and sabotage all our efforts. Yeah. So in the appreciation game, we'll do more processes that are very personal. We do it in the group. But as this is a taster class, I think it's really, it's better if we don't do it here. But I do want you to maybe realize that this is, in the meantime, this is how you can work with the part of you that might feel very disempowered. You empower it by you taking the lead. You do not push it away, resist it, judge yourself for it, and then let it die and bleed to death, because it's not going to bleed to death, because it has a positive intention. It wants to keep you safe. So when we start to work with this part of us that also has a positive intention, you can take her on the journey so that you build bridges between what you know and what she still doesn't know. Meaning, it doesn't serve us to dream small. It doesn't serve us to not take risk. It doesn't serve us to stay stuck in old beliefs and old ways of being. Once she understands it too, she will be excited to transform along with you. And we do not no longer create these disempowered victim states that are actually sabotaging us. And this is so the biggest part of the work that people don't do. So very often they have all these parts of them protecting them, and then they have this other part which is like completely like a different person, and then they do all of this stuff in the world and they get really massive success. But where they're stuck, they're not doing the work because it's so difficult to look at, because it is so uncomfortable. And they don't even like themselves there. Like, we don't like that part of us. We're like ashamed of it. And I think really that is when the shadow becomes louder and louder. And it's like a shadow that we don't want to see. We want to hide it in the closet. And this is the work that we're going to do. We're going to work with these victim trance states so that we can take it along with us, so that we can really, merge the energy of this stuckness with the part of you that is ready to grow. I don't know whether there's somebody that has a question or has a realization by what we've discussed tonight, because it's, for me, it was quite a big thing to do this and to realize that everything we do is about love. Everything we do is about allowing ourselves to transform with love and compassion, rather than beating ourselves up, rather than judging ourselves. The thing is, once we judge ourselves, we're going to judge other people. So very often we see ourselves judging other people, but we don't understand we're just basically judging ourselves. Yeah, Lucy, please ask your question.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi.
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 Um, Hi, thank you for this call, Angelique, and thank you everyone on the call. Just wanted to really ask about the victim part that you said is trying to keep us safe. I don't really understand the concept. So for instance, for me, the victim was I'm not good enough and I keep failing, and it's very much connected a lot with career and business. Like I just don't have the trust in myself there. And yet no much power in me, and people come to me for advice, all things nutrition and lifestyle and cooking healthy, and I know I have gifts, but I'm so afraid to voice them and to share them.
So you don't know what a
clear,
positive intention is. So what are you imagining will happen when you do take a risk in your business? What do you think, what are you picturing will happen when you do take that step, that bold step? What is it you're creating in your mind? Because it's all creation in our mind.
Right. Well, I think intellectually, of course, what I want to imagine is the success and, sharing with people and people helping others. But probably what I'm retelling myself is, but what do you know that anyone wants to listen to? Or, what do you know that's different to what people already know? Like, and oftentimes
you're
what
comparing
I think
and competing.
know, my friends say, well, I didn't know this. I don't know where to.
So
Yes,
what you're doing
I'm
right
comparing
now,
myself to others, and I'm always,
So this is the thing you don't know, Lucy, but in the appreciation game, we actually really teach you that the 7 toxic ways of thinking are really toxic. And this is really the toxicity of the, not so much thinking, but the way that we think without thinking. Yeah. Because we are not, we think, but we think whatever we think is true, because it's like a filter, right? So we listen to these voices and we don't understand that they're talking through a toxic lens. So one of the 7 toxic ways of thinking is devaluing yourself. And the second one is comparing and competing with other people. So, and you can see the whole list of 7 toxic ways of thinking. When you see them in your inner voice, your inner chatter, you need to stop it. You don't need to analyze it. It's just whatever you do from the 7 toxic ways of thinking, it doesn't have a good outcome. Because when you devalue yourself, you devalue others. When you devalue others, you devalue yourself. You devalue your business, you're devaluing the potential of the business. And so this is the thing. When we were playing the appreciation game in the business world, a lot of people started seeing that they were devaluing their business, they were devaluing themselves, they were devaluing their clients, and that's why their business wasn't doing well, because it's energy consciousness that we're projecting onto something that is real, that has a consciousness. So even you doing it to yourself, the thing is we all do this to ourselves, but we didn't realize that we need to be more discerning to how we use our mind. You're probably very, very smart, but if you don't understand that there's a toxic way of thinking, you're going to believe all these voices. Do you see what I mean? So just understanding the 7 toxic ways of thinking and interrupting your mind chatter, because what we're going to ask you to do is to turn it around. How would you start feeling? How would you start showing up when you just interrupt your devaluing yourself and you're comparing and competing with yourself? And we're going to do all these exercises in the game, because the thing is, it takes time for you to get used to the new voice. We can say, yeah, you know this, Lucy, of course I should stop doing this, but your mind isn't wired like that. So this is why you need to do the boring assignments that we give you, which is, you need to write it out so that your mind gets used to it. Maybe we'll tell you, you need to create an affirmation where you, like, whenever you're washing dishes or you're like in the shower or you go in the commute or whatever, you put it in the iPod or whatever and you listen to it so that you really start feeling it. Or maybe you make a musical playlist where you have all the songs talking about how wonderful you are. you know, how capable you are. Or you make a mind or a vision board where you see yourself, I'm capable. I am, people love listening to my advice. I'm a business leader, you know, I'm a pioneer. I have things to contribute, instead of allowing these toxic ways of thinking to run your life. Yeah. Victoria, please say something.
Hi, ladies. For me, hi, Lucy. Actually, it's the first time I see you here, but I know you for quite a few years now. So nice to see you here. And Angelique, for me, oh my God,
Thank you.
what you just said is just what I was doing my whole life, because my visualization is a very strong point. But what I was doing, whenever something comes into my vision or my life that I don't like, I'll be so aggressively pushing against it and trying to
Yes.
block it and
Yeah.
fight against it and protest against it, because I
Mm-hmm.
thought that this was stopping me from getting what I visualize that I want. And what you said today, I heard this before, but what you said today, that basic when we push it away, we give it power. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, that explains everything, why those things I really didn't want kept coming into my life.
Yes. Law of
Oh,
non-resistance.
but
So
today
important.
it just it just shifted. It just finally I got it. I hope I do. We'll see. We'll see with the manifestations. But this is the biggest point for me today. That's just because I was like, I had this huge aha moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so my God, thank you so much again. can't
These are
can't
all
stop
my
saying this.
downloads. I literally made the slides like 20 minutes before this class started because I had lots of meetings. So I was like, okay, downloads, come to me. Tell me what I need to do. And I was like, okay, okay, this is what I need to write down. So yeah. Yeah,
It's
so you
huge.
have a superpower, which is resistance. Focus, seeing things that you don't want and being really upset with yourself. So realize that that is a superpower. You can also turn it around and say, you know, if I'm really good at focusing on what I don't want, I can focus really good on what I do want, and it just shift it, you know, because and also as I said, you know, we very often let one thing come into our life that is a bit of a problem, and then we block out all the blessings. And we should like see everything as neutral, and then we can attribute positive meaning to it. And then the law of non-resistance is a game changer, I can tell you, because we are living in states of resistance. And when we live in states of resistance, we're always creating more of what we don't want. And this surrender thing, surrendering and allowing things to be and still create our reality is so big. It's huge, huge, huge. And it's something that I still need to learn how to deal with it, but I'm mastering it more and more. I'm more and more, you know, really feeling myself be less intense states of my body, and really, and it feels so uncomfortable anyways when you're resisting things, when you're focusing on what you don't want. You literally, whenever you focus on what you don't want, or give a lot of focus on, oh my God, I hope this is not going to happen, you know, basically you see your energy plummeting down. So this is why the 3 times appreciation a day, maybe it should be 5 times a day. Really focus on what am I doing with my mind? What am I doing with all these mental faculties that I have? You have the mental faculty of intuition. You have the mental faculty of you know, vision, the mental faculty of perception. You have the mental faculty of basically, what is it, imagination. Very often, whatever we give meaning, when we give meaning to something, when it's negative, it's very often a 7 toxic ways of thinking. It's not even about discernment. It's just we are in catastrophic thinking most of the time, or we are in blaming, or we are in competing and comparing or devaluing. And the thing is, things are not fixed. The way that we perceive them can create a complete different outcome. You know, so for instance, if all of us were in the last game in the coronavirus would said, oh, this is horrible, this coronavirus. Instead, all of us attributed positive meaning to it, and that's what we got, right? But imagine there are people out there that are attributing negative meaning to the coronavirus and what's going on. Imagine what possibility are they going to create with this mindset or attitude? Because whatever you believe is going to be right. So, so yeah, but I just really want to thank you, Victoria, for sharing that, because, you know, the more we share, the more that we learn from other people, because all of us need to train ourselves. You know, this is why when I came up with all these alignment skills, they're not easy, because actually we do not, we use them, but we use them in a way that creates results that we don't want. And then we get really, that we feel even more like a victim, because we need to control and change things outside of us. But if we're going to take responsibility by how masterful or unresourceful we are with using our mental faculties, we can turn things around. And we can, and guys, you've seen it in the appreciation game, people turn things around very quickly because they have awareness, and because they do it every day, and because they just say, enough is enough, I'm not going to do this anymore. So
Angelique, can I
yes,
please ask one more question? I
yes,
hope
of
it's going to
course,
be very helpful for everyone.
as many as you want. Yeah.
If my strong point is visualization, because I can see so clearly, I can literally have like a 5D movies in my head since I was very little. But not but and if there is something I visualize for quite a few years now, for example, but it's still not happening, and I know that,
Where is
like you
your
say,
energy? Is it lack?
probably yes.
Wanting it too bad?
Yeah,
Making
this
that
as
the
well.
source of your happiness?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the thing. You can have everything, but you shouldn't, you can have it if you don't want it anymore.
But how can you not want it anymore? I mean, I understand, people who say money is not the source of your happiness, those are people who already have lots of money, and they already
Yeah, they don't
are.
really care about it. They don't care about
Exactly.
it.
But how,
So,
it's not easy to say for a person who doesn't have enough yet, to not to
so,
care about them.
so when you say to yourself, I don't have enough of anything, you're devaluing what you do have. Are you appreciating, or are you in that sentence alone devaluing what you do have? You have to
Okay.
catch yourself in the statements that you believe in, right? So the other thing is also, you know that Abraham says, whatever you want, you do it because you think you will feel better when you have it.
Yes.
But the only way you can have it, magnetize it, is you feel it. You feel exactly the way that you already have it before you have it, right? You have to feel wealthy before you become wealthy. You have to become a wealthy person as a personality, even without the wealth. That is when you're going to magnetize wealth. So the appreciation game is not about manifesting the stuff. It's about you realizing the riches inside of you. Do you understand the difference?
Yes, I
Because
do. Yes.
once you start seeing the riches inside of you, you're going to feel so abundant and so giving. You're going to be a magnet for opportunities.
Hopefully very soon.
And so this is the thing. This is why when you're in a game like this, and people, all these different people are struggling with different things, and you see our feedback and we are together in the class, you learn so much from each other, because what you're doing with money, somebody else is doing with love, or somebody else is doing with their wealth, or somebody's doing with something else. Do you see what I mean? But it's really about cultivating this feeling of the having of the who would you be, what would you feel like if you were living that reality without making it about the external materializations. Rich people, I don't think, make it about the money. I don't think they really care that much about money. They just expect it. Do you see what I mean?
Expected. Yeah, it's a good one. Yes.
They just expect to have money. They expect that it's easy. And maybe you have a few thoughts there about it being difficult, or where is it? Dr. Joe always says, as soon as you're looking for the manifestation, you're not actually living in this state of doing the vibrational work to know that it's already there. So you're still operating from a looking for it. You need to stop looking for it so that it can come. You need to tune into your non-local intuition and start more focusing on the fun action steps and the fun inspiration that source wants you to take, so that you can allow the process of manifestation to be joyful. I think that is the biggest lesson for some people that are super ambitious and that are super impatient, is that they don't allow themselves to enjoy the process of manifestation. And so this is why the game should be fun. I hope that makes sense, Victoria. I know there are more people that are super, super achievers here. I know it's hard for these guys to hear this.
It does make sense. It's just, I think, because like in my, many things have changed, and you know that, because it's going to be my
Yes.
third game with you, and I cannot wait for many more. But the thing is, still, like, I know it's never ending story with us working on ourselves, but at the same time, like, how can you not expect manifestation? And how do you know if it's actually happening? For example, if it's about money and you check in your bank account or this, and it's not there yet, it's not coming, even though you feel this, you still kind of dive into this little doubt and expecting and not
So there's
seeing
the
it
law
there.
of gestation. The law of gestation, Victoria, means that when we plant a seed, it takes time. So it's not just law of attraction. There are 11 laws. Law of gestation is also a law that we'll be delving into. So it's really important that we do not force it, because everything takes time. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. Yes. God give me patience, please. That's all.
You have patience.
Thank you.
Maybe you have patience in other areas.
I do actually, yes, it's true. But not in this area, that's for sure. But I'm sure that the more we speak now, the more you will explain. It will make it more clear. So yes.
Yeah. So think about the maybe what you can do is really like think about the part of you that's very chilled out and relaxed about manifestations. And I know this is a foreign part of you, but that Victoria, maybe look at people that are very relaxed about things and that always get things easily. These people exist. And or if they don't exist, allow yourself to daydream about somebody like that and allow yourself to experiment with it. As you said in one of the classes we had, you said that actually when you went to nature and you didn't do anything, you didn't even take your phone with you, that you had clients coming to you. So although you weren't working super hard 24/7, actually when you relaxed, clients came to you. A lot of people, their belief system, and especially when you listen to Abraham Hicks, they really talk about the more you align, the more things come to you. So I think maybe there's still some kind of belief system, which is you need to control it. The thing is, everything is vibrational. When you start to really understand that the manifestations are about cooperative components, you are going to and the only leverage is in alignment, you're going to withdraw your I need to take action. What do I need to do in the material world to make it happen? Those are the things that you need to stop breaking. You need to start breaking that as a habit, because it's actually you don't need to do that. The only thing you need to do is align and then take inspired action. And you need to start feeling the reality of the vibrational reality, the vortex, rather than thinking, oh, just because I don't see it, I don't believe it. No, you believe it, then you see it. So these are skills, this is the vision skill. You have to see something that's not there. You have to believe something that's not there. But it has to do with the law of gestation, because things take time. And Abraham says we are lucky that things take time. Otherwise, we would think of something like we would think a horrible picture and it would happen like this. Do you see what I mean? The law of gestation is helping us in this 3D reality, because most of us are thinking really very horrific thoughts. Like, imagine with Corona, how many times did I imagine? There were times that I thought my partner was dead. Yeah. Or my parents were dead. Imagine that there was no law of gestation. Everything you think immediately comes true. Well, we would be in a lot of trouble. Can you see that now, Victoria? There is a benefit as well to this law.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
But
Totally.
maybe put an intention for yourself to really surrender and to enjoy the process, and not to make life about the manifestation, but about being in the present moment. Because once you find yourself in the present moment, every moment every moment of the day, you're going to see so many blessings, and you're not going to be so bothered anymore by the manifestation of your big goal. Your big goal is becoming who you really are, not the manifestation itself. That's really what I want to stress. Yeah. And you'll find out. You'll find out. Does anybody else have a question or a realization listening to this conversation? No? Yeah. So, so I hope that this was insightful, because when we're in the class, we could do the releasing work. We can work with, you know, pictures and energy and changing the pictures and things like that. But I think because this is a taster class. Oh, Jess, yes, please. Yeah.
I'll just unmute myself because it'd be quicker. So yeah, the guidance I wanted, obviously, how can I word it? I know obviously there's a massive shift in myself. I can see it in my awareness. And I was listening to videos, what you've been talking about in the last 2 mornings, but I think I posted yesterday in a webinar before I got cut off. Where I struggle with is entering a relationship. If a guy comes to me, he could be the perfect guy, but then it'll be like, it's okay, I don't know what happens, and I just don't want to chat to him no more. Yet he could be the ideal guy for me. And I'm like, it's okay, now this is just a bit too perfect. And I just, that's it, I just don't want to meet up, nothing, don't want to talk. So that's what I'm trying to overcome now.
So what if the relationship would work? What is the worst thing that could happen?
Obviously, I think it would be good, but I suppose that's my, maybe that's my fear zone, the relationship of being hurt. Yeah, being hurt.
There's always a positive intention to your crazy behavior. Your behavior is always very rational, but this is where we are looking at what Abraham says, split energy or conflicting intentions. All these intentions trying to keep us safe are not giving us the amazing manifestation. Yeah. So especially when you notice yourself having this weird behavior, then you really, really are, you know, you really need to look at, what am I protecting myself from? When we protect ourselves, Abraham would say, we're creating situations to protect ourselves from. And why would we want to hang on to those beliefs? These beliefs are not even real. They're just lies. They're just basically based on scarcity thinking. They're based on false premises of who we believe we are. And Jazz, this is the thing, right? The victim doesn't take responsibility for creating people. Do you understand? The victim does not see that they are creating the men coming into their lives. And so if we created men hurting us, we can also create them not hurting us. So this is where then we need to do the real work. I think, yeah, just Binder left. So yeah, I think it's time right now. I see Runa just joined. Runa, it's almost 11 o'clock, so we're gonna call it a day. But we created a recording. I hope the recording works. I had some glitches, so I'm now on my iPad, which is very different from my. Oh yeah, Jazz. Yeah, I'm just gonna say to Jazz, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah,
So basically, one of the biggest blind spots with the victim is that they don't accept that they create people. So let's say the part of you that is sabotaging relationships does not understand in a victim trance state that she's creating these people. So this is another focus area that you might want to look at, is, what do I believe to be true about men? That's where you then need to do the work. Yeah.
Angelique, I just came from 2 hours, 3 hours conversation with a victim thing in me. So that's why I joined.
Okay.
But I don't understand it. I really don't understand it, because it's all humans. I don't believe in, I trust you. I actually trust you. But it's at a part of my friends now, I don't trust them at all. It's like, I feel like it's a cult. I'm not sure. And that's me who create that. So yeah. So sorry, that's why I joined.
So so we did an exercise in the meantime. We made a recording. Maybe it would be good for you to really watch the recording, and then you can really maybe see what it is that you're doing. But I think the most important thing is with victim behavior is when we feel that other people out there are doing things to us. it is because we are not wanting to take responsibility for us creating these other people. And so we are resisting these other people because that is, we have a positive intention not to be hurt, not to be wounded, not to be criticized or whatever, not to be alienated, not to be gossiped about, whatever it is. But what happens is when you keep on resisting these things, you're creating more of it, because
No, but I don't resist. I actually try, and then it's like, okay, we had an appointment. No, I don't come anyway. It's like, it's been like for months now, and then I get in a quarrel with the whole group, and it's and then I just relax and just like, okay, I don't run from this. I take love, I send love, I do all this love stuff. And today I've just felt love, and instead I just create mess, because if I'm creating
sometimes,
it and I'm creating and I'm creating mess.
Do you know what my direct intuition is saying, Runa? You need to transform your Enneagram 8 to a higher level of awareness.
Okay. Yeah.
All I'm hearing is Enneagram 8, and Enneagram 8s are very powerful, but they're not the most in touch with their feelings. And so the Enneagram 8 in victim trance state is in a lot of pain, but it's really then lashes out to the world. Do you see what I mean?
Yes,
and maybe
I don't want to do that.
And there are other ways that you can deal with it. And so and I think and we know Donald Trump is an Enneagram 8, right?
Yeah, thank you.
So, and I don't have anything against Donald Trump, because Abraham Hicks is very interested in Donald Trump, because Donald Trump believes he can have everything. So, but there's something in you, Runa, that although you're an Enneagram 8 and you feel deserving and you feel you should have everything, you feel that there is a belief system that people don't want to give it to you. The thing is, people are not supposed to give you anything. People are not supposed to give us anything. Abraham Hicks would say that. People are there to, they can do whatever they want. We need to let people off the hook.
But I'm supposed to just meet people on the net. I'm supposed to just be this happy guy going help people all the time, and don't get anything back. It's like, you know how much I'm working.
Yeah, so but there's a blind spot still there. There's still a blind spot there. Do you see what I mean? Because it really,
yes, I know.
really hurts you. And I think actually the type of work that you need to do is really working with in individual therapy, because you know, I think there might be some really deep stuff there that could be ancestral. It could be your soul. It could be something to do with your soul. It could be entanglement with maybe somebody else in your family. We just don't know. It could be Akashic records. I think whatever it is, all of us have these very painful parts, and you know, I really empathize with you, because the thing is, when we do group work is very powerful, but these things that are so complex that and you've been doing the work for so long, I would maybe try a different modality to really turn it around.
Because I said to this group, no, because they said, yeah, it felt like it was a cult calling me to come and talk to them. I didn't even ask for help from them. And that was 2 people. And they know this person very well. One of them is the lover, actually. It's like, so I felt, what is this kind of scheme? It's like, I don't want that. I need someone who doesn't know me at all. I feel like, yes, you said, and in a therapy form, I never tried before, I think. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, I've tried many therapies. Today I did Psyche. You know, I love Theta healing, because Theta healing is, I would say, very precise, because, you know, especially with the beliefs clearing. I think it's Psyche also does a lot of belief clearing. I like the very specific therapies. Fast EFT is one of my favorites as well, because you're actually tackling the neural network. But yeah, there are, emotion code is also another one, but you know, it takes time to find the right modality. And sometimes I use different modalities as well, but definitely we also need to see how we have blind spots. And, you know, so when I'm you know, so when we believe that other people are doing things to us, we need to face the other people, you know, we need to write down the characteristics of what these other people are doing. And then we need to see that we keep on resisting it. So we keep on creating it. And we do not take responsibility for not clearing this type of vibration in our
but what,
consciousness.
it's like, I understand that I do that, and it's like, can you please come and move your stuff out? And they don't even do that. It's like they come, oh, I come tomorrow and I do this, and then we're gonna play and we're gonna blah blah blah. And no, and then 1 hour before they come, and I wasn't started with cooking yet, but I was almost starting. And then they called me and said, no, I'm sick. Okay, probably something with you, so just take 1 hour more. And then it's like, it's just blah 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 blah, worse than in my own head. It's like, and I felt really good today. Really good. I've been
So
good.
you have you're very easily triggered by certain behavior of people. Maybe look at what meaning do you give to it, and whether you want to hang on to the meaning. I was just saying to Lucy, very often we attribute meaning that are built around the 7 toxic ways of thinking. So A, you make it very personal, and B, you give it a meaning that it's somehow about them maybe disrespecting you, or them not caring, or you're coming from a moral standpoint, like people should always do this, this, and this. So, and the problem is when we are giving rules to people without having agreements about them, we're always suffering. This is a Tony Robbins work, you know that. So
yes, no,
I
I know, you know, I take that course as well, but I didn't take the exam. My ex did. I talked to him yesterday, and that was a good conversation.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, right? When you're triggered by people, you have certain expectations and rules that have nothing to do with their agreement. You imposed it, and then you make those things come back to you in a very painful way. So that is then the dynamic that you need to break through. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, yes, and I wonder if I'm actually going to call an old coach of mine who have something called the EDD program. It's kind of, I'll send you a link so you can, yeah.
I think you do a lot of work, but it's very much about how you are responding to people. I think it's really very much about the meaning you make. So you attribute a lot. So the part of you that shows up is attributing very painful meaning to the behavior of other people. And I think that is where you need to take a responsibility. And once you take that responsibility, you can turn it around with some discipline, because it's not about the other people. It's about how you create meaning in your mind. So and the only person that can create the meaning is you, Runa. There's nobody else creating it for you. People could jump up and down, and you could create lots of different meanings. All of us here, 500 people, could create another meaning. Do you see what I mean? And the victim will always make it a meaning that is very personal, very attacking towards them. And this is where all the victims are very similar, because they're so unconscious of that. They are attributing meaning and then blaming the other person for their pain, right?
No, I actually, even to the other person, I said that I don't understand how I make this all the time.
So
because
what are you resisting? You're resisting people being inconsiderate. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, because they say something and they don't do what they say. They find always an excuse to don't meet up. It doesn't matter who I call, they don't meet up.
And so when they don't meet up, what does that mean for you? What does that mean for you when they don't meet up with you?
They're not trust. I can't trust them. Meaning I can't trust myself, but I feel I can trust myself, and I'm not good, and I'm not worth meeting. People are scared of me.
So these are the things you need to write down, because if you believe that to be true, then that's what people are picking up, and then they're going to treat you like that. Because
I don't believe it's true, but you know, it's like, obviously that must be the meaning then.
So you need to take responsibility for what you accept as a belief in your world, Runa. You're not a child anymore. I'm going to be really harsh with you right now. If you are going if you're going to adopt these toxic ways of thinking, then you're going to be doing the work for many, many lifetimes. You are the only one in control of the voices in your head. I'm the only one in control of the negative voices in my head, and I'm not going to blame anybody for it. People can jump up and down, abandon me, desert me, cheat on me, and I'm going to still train myself to catch myself in the 7 toxic ways of thinking. And that is a responsibility that all of us take. So it doesn't really matter what other people do. Do you understand, Runa?
Yes, I do understand, Angelique. And
you know that because I'm now an Enneagram 8, because I have a very powerful Enneagram 8 when I'm in my work. But I can also be the nice Enneagram 2, and you have both sides too. So,
but you know, that doesn't work for me. I need someone in Enneagram 8 to actually talk to me, because I don't believe in that other stuff that's too kind, too lovable, because I don't believe that either.
That's the problem with the Enneagram 8s. Enneagram 8s need to respect people before they actually listen.
Yes.
And an Enneagram 8 only wants to hear the truth. And I'm telling you the truth now, and everybody else is hearing it. But this is the truth I need to hear as well, because I also have this bullshit voice in my head saying, you're not lovable, Angelique. People don't love you. And it's always with romantic partners. I'm so destructive when I believe that voice. So I now need to like talk to myself like, shut up. You shut the fuck up, you know? You know, and the thing is, or love yourself. You know, today we did an exercise which was less about the Enneagram 8 style of like interrupting herself. It was much more a higher consciousness style of allowing it to be and allowing it to help you transform. And I think if you listen to the recording, maybe that's something that a part of you might want to accept. But a part of you is more used to the Enneagram 8 style. And this is the thing, Enneagram 8s very often see conflict. And I think when you would read up the books about Enneagram 8 and how they deal with disappointment, you would learn so much about why this is not about Runa. This is about the Enneagram 8. And that should be, the thing is, doesn't mean that you cannot change, because I don't believe that we're fixed to be an Enneagram 8 or Enneagram 2 or whatever, but it is a filter. It is a very blind filter. That's why I went to the Enneagram courses.